Welcome to Appleton, Wisconsin, the site of the 2011 Division III Baseball Championship. He's Jim Dixon of D3Baseball.com. I'm Pat Coleman as we're wrapping up day one of Division III Baseball Championships action. First day of this double elimination tournament, 4 games, all 8 teams in action. And Jim, we kind of wrapped up the night with the best played, the most crisply played, and the most quickly played game of the night, in which Keystone defeated Western New England by the score of 2-1. The true pitchers duel. Brian Del Rosso, the center fielder, the big offensive star for Keystone, a game in which both teams had some chances to put some more runs on the board, too.
Yes, with a 2-1 game, you're going to find that everybody had a chance. And if you look down the Western New England lineup, everybody but one position player got a hit. So the team is well balanced. When you look at how they're going to come into the losers bracket, they really look strong. But really the story here is Keystone and the pitching of Jeff Frost. The only complete game of the tournament this year so far.
Yep, Frost goes the full 9 innings. He gives up 11 hits, but scatters them enough. He gives up just the 1 run, doesn't walk anybody, strikes out 9. Frost and of course the coach for Keystone in the post-game news conference tonight talked about how Frost had a great game against Cortland State in the regional round, and then followed that up with another just as good, if not better, game here tonight.
It really was, and you really got to credit Frost for sitting there and pitching a great game. He's peaking at the time when they need him to be pitching his best games.
Frost gets help from a pair of double plays turned behind him tonight. And then offensively, we talked a little bit about Brian Del Rosso. He's the number 9 hitter in the lineup. He goes 3 for 3 with a run scored, starting the big rally with a double in the 6th inning for Keystone.
He was really key. In fact, sitting at that 9th spot, he's really setting up the top of the order. And he's in there for defense, but they're always going to take a 3 for 3 night coming out of one of their best defensive players.
At the bottom of the order, sparking at the top, Esteban Miletiche drives the run in. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI from his second base spot. Matt Rogers takes the loss. He falls to 11-2 for Western New England. And you mentioned, of course, Western New England with chances. And of course, this is the game also, Jim, the game between 2 newcomers to the NCAA championships round as well.
Absolutely, we got 3 newcomers this year, and they're all playing fantastic. We expect the play that we got from the newcomers, certainly from the people with experience. So being a newcomer is not a disadvantage this year.
One of the other games, of course, 4 games this afternoon and this evening. Marietta comes in, the number 1 ranked team in the country, with the D3Baseball.com Pitcher of the Year in Brian Gosser, and he sure looked like it today. And not only that, in an 8-0 win, it looked like they may have had a chance to save him and bring him back later in the tournament, a little earlier maybe than normal.
It really was. And when you talk to the coach and you talk to the pitcher Gosser, he didn't even have his good game, and he was still putting up zeros. So how good this player is going to be, only a junior. We're probably going to see him next year, certainly in the season, and who knows what we can expect from Marietta.
Salisbury's Chris Greiner goes toe-to-toe with Gosser for the first 5 innings. And then, I gave Brian Brewer the opportunity to have the words in my mouth saying the wheels kind of fell off for Salisbury. He wasn't necessarily willing to agree, but to set up the situation for you, bottom half of the 6th inning, a ball hit into left field. Left fielder overthrows the cutoff man. Runners get to advance up from first and second to second and third. So Salisbury pulls the infield in. What happens? A chopper that would have landed, right in the second baseman's glove. Instead, it goes over his head. 2 runs come in. It's a 3-run inning, and from there, Salisbury was basically never in the game. The final was Marietta 8-0.
Yeah, certainly one of the strengths of Marietta is its head coaching. Brewer has put together a very good team. This is probably one of the best teams that he's had. You looked at also defense. Defense has been very key. And Marietta will pitch and put up zeros, just waiting for the moment, and then it'll strike. And they've done this all year. Always coming back, just when it seems like they're down, they can always put up runs on the board.
Gosser goes 6. He gives up 3 hits, walks 3. Even if they can't bring him back earlier, and there's not necessarily any need to. Of course, they have great starters at number 2 and number 3 to bring back the next couple of days. Gosser, a guy who went on 2 days rest in the regional, certainly could use the opportunity to get a little more rest and not have his arm taxed as much this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're seeing with a short stint by Gosser. And if Marietta makes it to the championship, I would not be surprised to see him pitching a complete game.
Offensively, Evan Brockmeyer is a guy who came in. He pinch ran for Braden Park in the middle of the game. He stays in, goes 2 for 3 with 4 RBI off the bench.
It really is. He is the reserve player of the day. He came in the middle of the game and he really put a spark into the offense, and that may be what Marietta needed. Just somebody coming off, playing hard, and showing what can be done.
Jim, Salisbury, which falls to 33-13 today, was your pick to disappoint here in the championships, and I'm sure part of that was the fact that you come out of the gate having to face Marietta, and then if you lose, you're facing either Kane or Chapman in the second round.
Salisbury has a very good team, and I wouldn't be disappointed to see them go further in the tournament. But they really have a tough road to hoe, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get to the championship. And when you look at what the expectations for the Salisbury Seagulls, they are very high. So it's, if they don't go home with the championship, they are going to be disappointed.
I'm sure Marietta would feel the same way as well. Gosser improves to 14-0, and Griner falls to 10-4. Our first game of the day, starting off the only game that started on time, of course. This morning in 49-degree temperatures, Chapman ends up defeating Kane by the score of 9-4. If you pick, the Southern California team versus the Northern New Jersey team, which one's going to come out better and perform better in A, at 8 a.m. Pacific, basically, and B, in sub-50-degree temperatures, I would have said, it's probably the Kane team. And, Mike Russo came into this battle of pretty highly touted pitchers and struggled. There's no good way to say it.
Yeah, Russo hasn't pitched very well. He didn't pitch well this game, and he didn't pitch well in the regionals. And so certainly you were going to give, if you had to look at that, you have to give the edge to Chapman. But when you look at what happened, Chapman's best pitcher pulls himself out in the fourth inning. So by that time, who knows what was going to happen.
Brian Rao basically walks off with his right arm stiff, just basically trying to keep his pitching arm as motionless as possible. He pitched 3 1/3 innings, came out in the middle of an at-bat, and it brings back kind of shades of, we don't really know yet whether he's going to come back. And, with what happened with Wade Kitchens, the whole cat and mouse game with Chapman the last time they were here, we'll probably never know until he actually takes them out again.
Oh, probably never know, and you're exactly right. But one thing you got to look at Ben Levitt. He came in, and he sat there, and he gave up a run right away, but he shut the team down, and that was what the Panthers wanted to see. They saw him pitching like a champion, and they went out and batters responded, and boy, did they.
Yep. Chapman's got its starting rotation, and they have 3 guys who have each pitched a little over 20 innings in relief. Levitt was one of those guys. Kevin Osaki came in and pitched 2 hitless innings, a pair of strikeouts to close out the game. He's another one of those guys. But, you can do this on the West Coast or in the South where you've got a warm weather atmosphere to play in. You can get by with fewer pitchers because you're not necessarily trying to play 4 or 5 games in a weekend like you are in the Northeast and the other cold weather parts of Division III baseball.
It really could be a disadvantage because, as you're saying, you don't have the experience having a lot of starting pitchers. You look at what Kane did in the regional. They had the pitching to go to the depth that they needed. Chapman really does need to have their pitchers need to have them working well so that if Raw can't come back and pitch another game, I think we're going to find some problems with the Chapman pitching staff.
And Kane, of course, been in this position before. They lost the first game in the regional and came back all the way through and won the Mid-Atlantic to get here to Fox City Stadium for the Division III baseball championships. So Chapman improves to 34-11. Kane falls to 42-10. Chapman led offensively by Tyler Hedzinski, the second baseman, 3 for 5 with a pair of runs scored, a pair of RBIs, more or less makes up for the 2-error day.
Yeah, Hedzinski's been their spark plug all year long. He's playing in a 3 spot because they need somebody who can sit there and get on base. And once he got on base, he was running wild. They couldn't catch him. A couple stolen bases on the day.
So Chapman moves on, and Kane will play in the early game on Saturday. We'll play against Salisbury. And we finish with the game that had the most exciting finish, the walk-off, in which Buena Vista defeated, I say hometown favorite, but area favorite, University of Wisconsin-Whitewater by the score of 5-4. A couple things that just jump out at this game. First of all, D3Football.com All-American quarterback / D3Baseball.com All-American utility player Jeff Donovan gets a start, goes 6 1/3, gives up 7 hits, and ends up with 4 runs, gets pulled in the middle of the inning, and looked pretty visibly frustrated this afternoon.
It really was. But he gave a team a chance to win. He kept them in there. But, it is a pesky Buena Vista. They're playing loose. So they got really nothing to lose because they know that this is their first time here, and it's a learning experience. And I've never seen a team that is playing with just so much abandon.
From the looks of Buena Vista's rotation, they really needed the win today with Luke Probasco on the mound because it kind of drops off from there.
It really does. Probasco is their best pitcher by far, so that when he goes to the mound and you can't get a win, you're going to have a short season.
Probasco goes 7 2/3 this afternoon, gives up 10 hits and 2 runs. It gets pulled in the middle of the inning. Kyle Dupik comes in and gets a strikeout to end the 8th, and then gives up a hit right away to start the 9th inning. James Stone comes in and gives up the inherited runner, gives up another run. So Whitewater ties the game in the top of the 9th, 4-4, and then Buena Vista comes right back in the bottom half of the inning, and Michael Hoffman hits the walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th to give them the 5-4 victory.
And one thing you got to understand about this game is it wasn't the big hits coming through; it was the little hits. Buena Vista just was able to put the bunt down time and time again and get runners on base. The pitching staff of Wisconsin-Whitewater was tiring because they were always behind in the counts. They always had runners on base. In fact, in 6 of the 9 innings, Buena Vista was able to get the leadoff runner on base.
So James Stone blows a save, but he picks up the win in relief. He improves to 5-3. Eric Schmitz takes the loss for Wisconsin-Whitewater. So to set up Saturday's action, we start off with Salisbury against Kane. That's the morning game, followed by Western New England against Wisconsin-Whitewater, and then we move into the winners bracket, where it is Chapman against Marietta, and then Buena Vista against Keystone to finish it off on Saturday. And what should we expect to see if we get all these games in?
Oh, I think we're going to have a nice weekend of baseball. I'm really looking forward to see what Buena Vista and Keystone, 2 teams that are here for the first time, really playing loose and playing to win.
He's Jim Dixon. I'm Pat Coleman. Thanks to Ryan Coleman, our producer here tonight, as he will be for the entire Division III Baseball Championships, our wrap-up of Day 1 in the books here from Appleton.